we can't deny the fact that there's going to be a slight difference here since we're an online event versus a full LAN event. So, I mean, Optic many a times have come out ahead online during those Pro Series, during those online circuits. So it really is going to be so close to call here.
I mean, so many different factors. You could talk about Sentinels flying out to Texas to be together on a lower ping to be able to potentially combat against the best team that we do have online in Optic Gaming. But, I mean, throw the internet out the window. It wouldn't matter if these guys were on main stage right now here in front of us. You know that this one is going to be a banger of a series. You know that this one is going to be the best Halo we see all weekend, potentially. These guys let nothing loose when they go against each other, and right now we're kicking it off with Aquarius CTF as game 1 day. But as we take a look at the rest of the map pool, anything stick out?
One thing that sticks out to me is we're not seeing any of the new stuff here in the series.
Love that.
We don't have a King of the Hill. You don't have any Catalyst. So these teams and players have been practicing all these modes all year long. There is no excuse as far as, oh, well, we weren't as well practiced on this or that, or didn't know this trick or corner. It's going to be the same bag of tricks here on all the maps.
This right here is a Richie Hines special. You start with the winners, finals, or the grand finals, and you build down. And yep, you got to have the new map mode combos in there. But when you go against the 2 best teams in our tournament, you want them tested on the most tried and true game types. Aquarius CTF is as basic as it gets in Halo. Something you carry on from 3 to Reach to 5 to now Halo Infinite. These guys on both sides of the stage have been competing across all of those titles for so long, so this is nothing new to them.
No, but I think it is going to set the tone for the series because it's the same as winning like the opening Midship or Heretic CTF.
That's a big win.
Or, you know, Aquarius is very that symmetrical arena style CTF, and it's just like, here's just straight up Halo. Halo doesn't get any more Halo than this style map and game type.
Yeah, I think that usually the winner of those map modes are typically the better team, right? You don't get to out-rotate them on like a Construct King or something, and that's a little bit more unorthodox. So we're going to learn a lot about how these 2 teams are playing in here in game 1. Looks like we're loading into the map now, and I hope that we can start on board with LethuL. We saw it in the Boobadooboo interview coming from the last series. He said, LethuL, you can't underrate him. On Championship Sunday, he's been a player for me that maybe hasn't statistically been playing the best on Sentinels, but recently in scrims, let me tell you, Dave, he's been picking it up. I'm hearing great things about his play, and if he can hit his stride, he's going to give Sentinels that much more.
And such a crucial trade by LethuL to take out his old teammate APG there. I almost got to fault APG there for that trade in that situation.
Absolutely.
APG closed too much of a gap and gave him the 2-shot melee opportunity, and LethuL's going to take that every day of the week.
Yeah, LethuL, the reason Sentinel's able to combat the opening success of Optic Gaming, because LethuL gets 2, of course. Starting this one off the way LethuL needs to, a champion in his own rights, one of the greatest to ever do it, arguably the greatest to ever do it, trying to continue to build to his accolades. Starting off game 1 on the right foot, and so is Lucid. He's picked up the camo, he's picked up a couple of kills, and map control goes to Optic Gaming.
We've covered a couple All-Stars already, but it doesn't get any more of an All-Star in Halo Infinite when we talk about Lucid and Frosty.
Yeah.
And so to see your superstar take down their superstar in a 1v1 fight, that's one of the things that you love to see as your teammates, and you're just like, all right, we are winning our 1v1s. We are doing this.
Yeah, when you see him win a fight against Frosty, that's a big statement. But since then, Sentinels have been able to come off respawn, and they killed all of Optic Gaming, removed him from the map, gained some map control, even got the flag on the move momentarily, but it was Formal that shut that one down. And although Sentinels looked like they were going to get the first potential flag on the move, it is going to be a return coming through. Optic Gaming not letting it go that easy.
Back to even, and with camo coming up soon, I don't expect either of these rosters to push it too far just yet. If they do, they're going to use it more as a distraction to acquire that power-up.
The heat wave, the thrust, look at Formal cycling not only his thrust to get a couple of kills back at his base, but immediately goes for theirs. 4 dead for Sentinels now. Optic Gaming look to be aggressive and potentially take the lead here.
And I like this. APG, even though he's near top center, instead he decides to take up some more ground on the Sentinels half of the map, creating a better opportunity for one of his teammates to grab that camo. Anytime that you can push up and take some extra ground and let your reinforcements grab that power-up or power weapon, it just gives your team a much larger presence and more angles across the map.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. TriPPPeY now with camo in hand, picks up that thrust bottom middle, and it's been Onset's player to watch for this Optic Gaming roster. You talk about superstars in the series, TriPPPeY, maybe one of the lesser known players here. Maybe the one of less accolade-driven players, I should say, in this series. TriPPPeY's going to need a big series in order to create an upset like the one that would be against Sentinels, but he's so capable of it. He's done nothing but impress us in Halo Infinite. A big 1v1 against LethuL, narrowly wins that fight, and that's a big fight to win because you keep pink control as you lose 2 teammates.
And not only does he win that fight, he stays patient. Sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I guess I should, you know, fly it on over, fly to the base. But Sentinels watched literally every angle. There was someone watching towards top pink and someone watching around that corner at the cuts near the refrigerator.
Formal picks up 2 in the kill feed. He gets taken down by Royal2, but TriPPPeY, aggressive, finds 3 dead, and now all of a sudden TriPPPeY is going to have a realistic opportunity here to pull this flag. If they can take down LethuL Pink 1, that would be a massive kill, but TriPPPeY's just going to throw this one out. He has his eyes on Slays.
And just like that, gets a backsmack on Frosty. Frosty not really expecting anyone to come over there near Fridge. Generally, teams and players leave that spot open to allow the opponents to spawn there.
But it's worked out. Look at this. The Slays come through because TriPPPeY not only gets a kill, distracts a teammate or an enemy while his teammates pick up another kill. That flag now over halfway. How can Optic Gaming continue this flag run is the question. 2 of them go down, and now Sentinels look to try and approach the return here. It's going to be Royal2 being aggressive, getting the return. The kills come through for Sentinels, and now we're looking at a counter cap opportunity with the last member alive, Lucid in Optic's base. He's stuck in the back. Royal2 smells blood in the water. He's going to be able to get this kill for sure. It's a matter of can someone get that flag on the move.
And then again, we also have the spawns over at Fridge.
Bottom
One
middle.
thing that's a little interesting is we're seeing a lot more pulls towards bottom middle or towards car 1. Generally, we've been seeing a lot of these teams go through utility or generator to get that flag across the map. But it seems like these players are opting just to get a little bit faster, or they're just don't have the presence on the map. They don't have the setup that they want.
Look what's going on in front of the base right now, Dave. It's a fight for the return. APG overextended. He got a touch on the flag, but the kills have come through. Optic Gaming are all on respawn, and this is a beautiful play by LethuL to drop the flag, hop the return. Now can someone punch it in? They get it. Punched in it with SnakeBite top the base, and Sentinels now with a 1-0 lead.
Yep, back on even footing as well. Now, neither team has a really strong presence. You know, they have top, one team has top car, the other has top pink. Right now, it's just gonna be a neutral, straight-up fight to see who wins this engagement. So far, Optic coming out ahead as they take out LethuL, they take out Frosty, they take out Royal2. They have a 3-on-1, and you know they're gonna be flying into this base.
So many times so far throughout this game, we've seen this exact opportunity for Optic, but it's been squandered. Sentinels' defense has stayed strong, will once again be that way. The first pick on the Frosty is of an important one. Information as to where the last 2 players is given from Optic Gaming. It's going to be a pink side run. You don't see this often, Dave.
I was just going to say, we highlighted at the beginning of the series that we're playing a lot of the same old game types. These players and teams, we can probably expect what we've seen all season long. But then we've just seen majority of these flag runs kind of being a little bit different. A lot of times we're seeing players charge the refrigerator. When we didn't see that, we see a pink run, which we don't see very often. So I have to wonder if the meta's been shifting a little bit under my nose, or if these players are just maybe making the incorrect decisions.
Well, I think stereotypical high-level gameplay is just going to be countered at this high of a level. So often do these 2 teams match up in tournament play, so there's nothing left unturned as far as strategy is concerned. So if you do something that traditional, does it get shut down? So far, the traditional Optic Gaming runs have been shut down. So the pink run, it was a nice attempt, but Sentinels, they get the return, they get the Slays, no problem. They've reset the map. I do believe Camo has just gotten into the hands of Lucid. Great job by the Observer there to focus on him. Now with Heatwave Camo, you need to stay alive. You need to find an opening to tie this game up.
One thing that was also interesting, as soon as he busted out that heat wave, he changed the orientation to hit a horizontal shot. I wonder what Lucid's noticed overplaying, online throughout these times. You see he's going back and forth depending on the situation. So it's just a little curious to know that he's not always just going to the vertical heat wave.
Yeah, there's no telling. I can't get it right. It's either one or the other, and whichever one it is, it should have probably been the other one. Right now, Lucid having a lot of success. Snipes one bottom middle, tries to push into the closet, but a massive kill from Royal2. I feel like I've said that about 30 times this year, and Royal2 known for getting massive kills throughout his career. Why not taking down Lucid? The drop shot, it's an efficient one on the TriPPPeY, forces him to back down, but a great job to create space so far.
And all these members of Optic over at the car side, this could go well if they stay alive for a little bit, but looks like they're getting collapsed on, and this pretty much every single player on the map dead except for LethuL and APG in a 1v1, and just they both kind of have the same idea. I guess I'll push to your base, you can push to mine.
LethuL's going to have the favorable position. Frosty's going to be able to take down APG. And now we're seeing Sentinels once again take control of the map. Lucid trying to fight for his closet, but as LethuL takes him down, this is where it could get ugly, Dave.
Just that little mind game there between LethuL and Lucid. Lucid just assumed he was going to back down. He thought LethuL was going to back down, so he got ready to throw a pre-nade or something for that drop on car. And LethuL just stayed and challenged the closet.
Look at this, a flag pull into the closet. It's successfully getting this. Is the furthest flag, I feel like, for Optic Gaming so far that has a realistic chance. I want to hop into an Astro Gaming listen in with Optic Gaming and see if they can punch this one in.
Watch out P1, watch out P1, last guy. Watch out P1. Get in their flag. I'm in their flag. I'm in their flag. I'm coming to you, Joy.
Toss it out and slay. Toss it out.
The flag behind you.
The first cell.
If you above you.
In the gen, in the front base.
Weak there, flag.
Ping drop, weak as well. Nice. He went down on
Lift on me if you can. Looking over you. Is there a card up right now?
Yo, bottom middle, looking for me.
Okay, bottom mid.
Two of their front base.
L2 guys, L2.
P1 guys,
SnakeBite L2.
L1 SnakeBite going front base.
Yeah, 2P1 guys. One dead. Wait, Frosty.
Push to the base.
Base, 2 weak.
One shot, LethuL.
LethuL,
abs inside, go in their face. Go in front of the base.
I don't see him.
He's still there inside bottom mid then.
Nice.
Take our time, Joey. Take our time.
Nice kill, Joey.
P2 killed me, P2. Watch out, P2.
They're gen.
Other one they're gonna think. Frosty's down L1, guys. Frosty's down L1.
Matt, we're playing gen side.
I hear that.
We need to make sure L2 is clear.
L2.
Two guys.
L3, watch out LethuL. L1, watch out LethuL. Nading it. I'm pushing the 3 there. I got one.
More here, still more here.
L2, watch out.
On the nades.
Our gen in there, gen. I think. No.
They're gen. Shot to your left.
Gen, one shot, SnakeBite, left side. He's on the head glitch, try to help him.
Keep fighting, Tommy.
Yeah, L3.
Pushing our gen.
No, he's going L2. 2 L2,
L2.
Brad. L3 now with thrust. L3 with thrust.
Yeah, our thoughts is up. P2, LethuL weak. RP jump up. And our guys are there.
Break,
Well, the comms were cleaning up to get them that one cap. Tied the game up, but ever since then it's been pretty chaotic. You can feel the moment. The magnitude of it. It's here for Optic Gaming, and right now they're on the ropes. Sentinels have the flag on the move.
They're just, you notice how each kill is so calculated. We now have more refined call-outs. It used to be something like car 1 or car 2. Instead, they're like L1, L2, L3. They're like putting in like a code on a PlayStation game or something like that. I don't know what's going on.
Oh man, back in the day, you kids wouldn't know. Right now, TriPPPeY, closet control, a couple dead, doing everything right. Lucid, again with camo, it's something to say, Dave. Optic Gaming's camo control could be the difference maker here in game 1.
Yeah, they've been getting it a lot, but also just the sneaky little plays you see out of all these players. Like the last time we saw Lucid had this camo, try and track down LethuL.
Oh my.
And ended up getting a trade in that scenario, which is like, it should have just been an easy pick on the one shot, but just these players are so slippery, they make you work so hard for each kill.
What a kill by Roll 2. Those frag grenades stopped the flag on the move, Dave. I don't know if you got a chance to catch that, but it was a potential flag game-winning stop by Roll 2. He was the last guy that had an opportunity to potentially deny that, and perfectly placed frags denied that flag from going into the closet, but he didn't buy enough time because ever since then he's been taken down. That flag's been re-grabbed, and it is on the move. It is across halfway, and as Frosty goes down, this could be where Optic Gaming take the lead.
There's a couple kills on the board. However, SnakeBite is in position, and APG knows it. He's going to drop and slay for a little bit. There's 2 dead. And here comes in Optic Gaming, bringing in flag number 2 to go to a 2-1 lead. Look at the flags they've gotten so far, Wes. It's been the calculated runs through utility. Doesn't matter if they know what you're doing. If you just do that strategy and it works, keep running it.
You got to have that kind of control that we saw Optic just have. Right now, Sentinels press for time, 15 seconds on the clock, Dave. Lucid trying to stay alive in the back of his base. APG picks up potentially the biggest kill of the game there. It's going to give them numbers in order to defend this. LethuL trying to push through. It's traded out by Roll 2, but it's traded out by TriPPPeY. And now all of a sudden, the last hope for Sentinels is not in a position. It was Frosty, couldn't get there. And that's going to be Optic Gaming taking game 1, and as close of a bout as it could have been. TriPPPeY with 27 to his name, the difference maker for this Optic team, and something we've been saying, Dave, across the year is TriPPPeY probably the less experienced player in this lobby. the more finals he plays in, the more winners bracket finals, the more grand finals, the more comfortable he's going to feel from a guy that's played in hundreds probably of winners finals and grand finals.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But, I mean, if he's played in fewer events and has less experience, he's putting up some big numbers right there as he has the most kills, going 27, 19, and 12 during that last game.
Unbelievable.
The thing that really stuck out to me that last game, though, was both these teams are so well known for how well they can abuse another team if they have a all 4-up scenario. This game, I didn't see that at all.
Oh.
It felt like both these teams were playing so good off the back heel. Times where they'd potentially get spawn trapped, they just broke right out. They would slip out.
Defense was standing strong for both teams. So often do you see that go to a 5 cap limit when these high caliber efficient teams are playing. And as we take a look at the damage, Dave, it's Frosty, it's Lucid, of course, but Lucid winning the joust in game 1.
Yeah, Lucid putting up 7,400 damage, 400 damage more than the next highest person, which is the superstar Frosty and other squad.
Came down to camo control for me. Heatwave was a crucial piece of the puzzle as well. And like you said, Dave, so often do we see one kill turn into all 4 dead, but that wasn't the case here in game 1. These teams that play at this high of a level, Sentinels and Optic Gaming, they're getting so much better at learning how to play men down, at understanding how to play from the back of your heels, from the defensive section. And when you're able to do that, you stall, you buy time, you weather storms, and you keep your team in it.
Yeah, just all those different unique scenarios where you'd see someone stay alive that little extra longer. A situation where LethuL lived bottom center, goes out and gets a trade against the camo Heatwave player and Lucid. Like, those cannot be overstated how much of a game changer it is.
So many different outcomes to this game if just one kill goes differently, right? So many different times, whether roll 2 stopping the flag run right there as we were about to see, or was it TriPPPeY landing one of the multi-kills that he was able to do to open up Sentinels' base for some of their successful flag runs. But, I mean, APG having the presence to know SnakeBite's in the back of his base, to wait, to buy time, to know that TriPPPeY's on his way. And if he's doing anything right this game, he's taking down members of Sentinels with him.
Yeah, how many times have we seen this weekend in that situation where APG was from generator to go to the flag, that every other team just grabs it and tries to sprint across, just crossing their fingers and hoping it works.
Yeah.
It's like, no, look at how methodical Optic were. They said, we have to get this kill, we have to get this damage before I start moving this across the top of the flag.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be a champion at Halo, you got to keep your head cool in some dire needs and some hot pressured moments, and that's what these two teams do best. We're going to hop into Recharge Slayer as game 2 of our winners bracket finals. And now the pressure's starting to build on the Sentinels as they have fallen short here in the winners bracket finals. Optic Gaming understand that this series is far from over. Let's see how they are able to start this one off.
Looks like a pretty standard start, but a lot of kills being traded out on each side. APG going down to Mangler Pit, trying to trade with the camo, and it is.
Big kill.
And there's one kill on Frosty. APG still somehow staying alive. I thought LethuL was going to get that finish, but a little too fast. But trades back and forth. We have shock rifle in the hands of Formal, and I did not see. I assume that camo for sure got burnt, right? From
APG killed him.
Okay.
APG took down Frosty. Frosty got the double with the camo, but in the meantime, I think we just narrowly missed a Formal play that swung momentum in his team's favor. After he got that kill bottom middle, he was able to turn into pipes off screen, hit a shock rifle shot that popped up in the kill feed for just a moment, and now it looks like Optic have control. They have control of the shock rifle as well, and with this much space between the two teams, you have to favor Optic in this chance.
And look at all that concentrated fire coming out from Sentinels. It wasn't just the one player over there at Turbine, 2 players at the window near Elevator, all focused here at the TriPPPeY spot or long haul, whichever you want to call it.
It's a spot for a reason. Can't quite hit the headshot on the LethuL, and now they know where TriPPPeY is. Is TriPPPeY going to relocate? I love the idea of relocating, but TriPPPeY's going to stand his ground. He says, this is my corner. They named it after me for a reason, right? Let's see what he can do. They expect to push. The headshot doesn't come through, and because of that, the DPS difference is in Sentinels' favor. They pick up the first 2 kills.
And that's such a huge break there for Sentinels to get those kills, to not let that shock rifle emit so much damage, which we've seen it before. Sometimes that person can be a one-man wrecking crew.
Now look at this.
There's a kill going in favor of Sentinels. We got the shock rifle in the hands of Frosty. Barely missing that shot, but he doesn't care. He's going to reposition. He's probably going to use this last bullet and just get a new one to spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. It spawns in 15 seconds the second you drop it. He wants this camo. He tries to grapple it to him, but he goes to the camo instead. It forces him to have a disposition here bottom middle, and now you got to worry about Frosty being able to play his life. He's going to go right back for that grapple. Gets out of dodge. It's a nice kill onto APG, so everything's worked out in Frosty's favor. And now TriPPPeY's going to wish he didn't have a couple of those misses with the shock rifle, because Frosty with this thing, you know he doesn't miss.
Yeah, unfortunately for Frosty, this is staggered a bit much, though. You would hope that he had a fresh shock rifle to make more happen, but he's going to try to get this entry kill, and you'll see these members of Sentinels collapse if they get the opportunity to. Lucid with a nice repulsor, not allowing Frosty to escape over at the C plat, and that's going to backfire real quick on Frosty and the Sentinels.
And that's something I want to criticize Sentinels about real quick, is just having your camo player not only be the initiator in the combat loop, sometimes that's okay, but when he does it by himself, nobody else on Sentinel is able to capitalize on that damage, nobody able to help keep Frosty potentially alive in that situation. The rest of Sentinels sat back. You never want to see that when you have that camo. You want to be playing aggressive as a team, but Lucid with a stick off the wall, predicting SnakeBite to turn the corner at that time. When things like that happen in a winner's bracket finals, Dave, you got to gain momentum.
I mean, at one point you asked whether they'd be lucky or good, and
I'll take
Lucid says I'll take both. Yeah, exactly.
I'll take an Xbox shutting off in the winners bracket semifinals.
But yeah, one thing about Lucid there, though, too, with that timing is at some point you start to get in that rhythm. You've played this game so much, and you realize somebody poking out there near long haul. You realize, all right, somebody's got to poke out and check out the spot at some point. They know I'm here.
LethuL, massive win to not only take down Lucid, but to deny him shock rifle control. You know Lucid wanted that shock rifle, but he had to win that 1v1 against LethuL in a very disadvantageous position. A big fight from the beast himself. Let's see what Sentinels are able to do now after that kill.
There it is, Frosty, one shot versus one shot. Kills being traded out. That's gonna be 3 down for Optic, and it doesn't look like Sentinels are stopping, especially since they have a one-shot formal. What a huge turnaround to have the foresight to hear the one-shot call out over at bottom elevator and say, all right, I'm going down, but who am I taking with me? Formal makes the right target acquisition and gets that kill.
Situational awareness by Formal, phenomenal. Now APG trying to stay alive with this camo. He's surrounded right now, Dave. No frags coming through. He's able to get his shield back, and now Sentinels have got to be a little frustrated. Where did APG go? They got to be thinking. LethuL does turn the corner. He's going to be able to stay alive, but with this camo, we saw what Frosty was not able to do with camo. Is APG going to be able to make the play?
TriPPPeY gets LethuL out of his spy, says calls after me for a reason, gets the pick and roll too, and I like this. APG is not forcing to get some sort of back smack or anything. He is putting damage on the map, and I feel like we see that not as often as we need to here in Halo Infinite.
SnakeBite with a big one. Exposed top, middle, no shield, gets a kill on the Lucid. That's a couple of kills we would have thought Lucid would have achieved, and leaving a couple on the table for Sentinels to have that 3-kill lead for now.
Look at all these teams and players focusing here at Pipes. Shock rifle coming up soon. You know coaches and players got to be calling that out, and they realize out of anything here on that map, that's got to be the biggest game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Hadn't had too much of an impact as of yet, but you have to think as this game continues, somebody, I mean, there's just so much skill in this lobby. Somebody's going to get that thing and make a play towards the end of the game that's going to decide the outcome, right? Camo, not for another 25. Formal with Pipes control. Optic Gaming, you know you want that Pipes control. That's where the shock rifle spawns, and Sentinels are going to have the advantage here for the camouflage coming up, but the question is Optic Gaming going to be able to find the pick?
Look at this, Lucid poking out to shoot at the exact same time that Formal's grabbing that shock rifle. Just giving the extra advantage. You're not going to leave that person out to dry and just say, hey, get that weapon and bring it back. Instead, it's a team effort.
Yeah, here comes the Formal shock rifle play. They try to compete for camo. It's going to be TriPPPeY that goes for it. Formal looking over his shoulder, able to look long haul for just a second, able to find one spot. SnakeBite can't hit the shots on the SnakeBite that'll take him down, but almost overextends in that fight, and that's a very exposed location. The shock rifle now down on the ground. I do believe TriPPPeY was able to secure that camo, but in the meantime, Sentinels have been able to win the battle of the slaves.
Yeah, somehow trading out all those kills, doing a good job baiting that shock rifle player out and then collapsing right away. But as I say that, we saw Royal 2 and LethuL fall. Optic are going to be very comfortable right now in this tie game plus shock rifle.
Okay, the game slowed down. It doesn't look like TriPPPeY was able to stay alive when he went for that camouflage, so as this game turns into a stalemate, I want to hop on board with Sentinels and see how they play this situation. They're so famously known for their standoff success. Astro Gaming listen in with Sentinels.
I have repulsor.
Yeah, one's up there.
I'm here. I'm
Top
here.
AVG. And Turbine kill. Dude,
I can shoot your.
yeah, I wanted to push
Pulse,
Turbine's
pulse.
up
Okay.
like mid-map.
Shut up, gold.
Mangler, ABG.
One shot AVG dead.
Nice, good kill.
He did. They're gonna drop like Turbine
Yeah,
maybe? Turbine, one shot
neither,
Lucid,
neither.
one shot Needler. One shot Needler.
I'm bottom
Yeah,
main.
kill this.
Gold or
Choose a
Valor?
B, choose a B.
L2. Guys, careful. TJ is
One shot.
L2.
One hit
Batteries,
batteries, guys.
L2.
One hit batteries.
L2.
Didn't die.
Nice, good. Just
Still
sitting
two,
on-
one's bottom elevator.
Okay,
Yo, guys, listen, I need us to just hold the map, okay? L2, I'm looking.
Trippy
Jumping
top
up.
gold. He's top glass
Jumped up,
coming.
gold.
Trippy.
One's top gold. Top gold's dead. Guys, glass stuck. Glass stuck.
Glass stuck.
Alright, I'm gonna go for him.
TJ, go.
We top gold.
Yeah,
He's running gold. Running gold
Right
pipes.
side
Yo,
gold.
I want us to go batteries. Turbine.
Okay.
Fuck A, please. I'm looking at
Top
turbine.
gold right side. Top gold right side.
Stairs.
Yeah, he's on the steps.
Cam
Yeah,
on
we
20 guys.
absolute.
Cam on
Dead.
20.
So done.
Nice.
Matt,
One
top
more,
A,
no.
top A, bottom
One shot top gold.
A.
One shot top gold. One shot exit.
Yeah, nice. Cam on 50.
Top A,
Bottom A.
Okay, watch above you. I spawned bottom mid.
Yeah, Cam on 10 as well,
Oh, I
guys.
thought we were. Oh, fuck. No, guys, I leave A. I
Cam on 5. Cam on 5, guys.
Yo, make there.
ABG back top A.
Okay, I want gold pipes, guys. Gold pipes.
One spawn blue.
Okay, new camo, guys. New camos
Yo,
out.
I think C plat.
You're
Gonna
gonna
go
push
C alt
me.
and one's
They're
mid bridge.
Bottom BR, formerly.
Gonna be right now.
TJ, watch.
Camo, guys.
Bottom A,
I'm trying to look at
ABG.
camo.
Yeah, camo still.
One's sneaky.
Yeah.
Come a couple of me. Come
You
on.
guys
We
should
need to
push
get
right.
home.
I'm trying. I'm going, man. I'm going.
One like C.
They have camo.
I'm with you, Matt. I'm with you.
He's C5.
Stay low.
Just.
They're just holding me at A.
Yeah, they have camo. We
We're
just
both
maybe
in
wait it
C-ball.
out.
Yeah, we probably want to.
Back low, they're just. We can't really push right now.
Yeah, Brad is shocked. Might be able to get a pick.
The IGL for Sentinels, maybe switching it up. It's Frosty this time around, making the shot calls, calling what they want to control. They decide to slow it down. But in the meantime, TriPPPeY was able to secure that camo. Sentinels knew about it, but can they stop him? They eventually take him down, but he's found a couple opening.
Yeah, you heard that interesting call out there from Frosty saying, we don't need to hold A.
Yeah.
Instead, if we're going to be pushing out here from BR or C side, go straight to batteries, go straight to turbine. Sometimes when you're funneling straight towards A, you go straight across that Mangler bridge or that top catwalk, and you're just easy pickings for those players at top gold. So it's interesting how they say, all right, we're going to just take this little shortcut. We're going to go across this little bridge over here towards turbine, and even though batteries and turbine can feel like an exposed area, if you're all there together and you have these players back down, it actually isn't that bad.
The parents at home appreciate your ability to not explicitly use the same words as Frosty, but strategy nonetheless understood by Dave Walsh, portrayed here perfectly. As Sentinels still down one. Now it's shock rifle in the hands of Lucid, and arguably one of the best with the weapon in the game right now. Can he find a couple of picks that can extend this lead? As we do approach under 2 minutes, Dave, the clock will become a factor in this game.
It will, but we're also in a position just yet where it's still so close to be tied that both these teams are comfortable, like, sitting back. They're going to say, all right, like, let's give them an opportunity to make a mistake. Or, like, let's see if we can get a more insurmountable lead, like Optic getting a pick or two. Right now, Optic is fine with slowing this down, especially since they have the shock rifle, but I heard that sword, and that's from a teammate, so it's all good.
Yeah, the sword and shock rifle in control. Roll 2 and Frosty trying to get the advantage on the Lucid here. Continuously getting him down to no shield, but can't quite get the kill. Look at roll 2. He's approached him. He's so close, but oh my God. Lucid with the nade, the repulse. That was beautiful.
That was so incredible. Return to sender, getting that kill, and then Lucid winning a 1v1 against Frosty over in the elevator. Exactly what you need your team to do here in these clutch moments. Now, I would expect that we won't see Lucid drop that weapon since they don't have control of pipe / battery area. Just wants to hold onto that shock rifle and not let it respawn.
Who has sword though? Doesn't someone have sword for this Optic Gaming roster? Would have loved to see them drop it for TriPPPeY, but look at how little of space Sentinels have right now. It's going to be so difficult. They reset the shock rifle. It's allowed TriPPPeY to jump up here. He finds one. Good damage onto Royal 2, but pressure in the BR tower has allowed Sentinels to get a few kills back. It's a 2-kill game.
I can't believe we actually saw a pancake here in the winners bracket finals. And also, I still can't believe that Lucid did drop that shock rifle. Instead, decides to let his teammate get it with camo. So this is a dangerous position, though. Royal 2 and LethuL kind of hot on TriPPPeY's heels. Although they're weakened back down, it's still not a safe spot to be in. Here comes Royal 2, one shot. They both challenge us out, and I'm surprised Royal 2 does not challenge that to the death. A 1v1 with a shock rifle as the reward.
2-kill game. TriPPPeY needed to get that kill under Royal 2 to extend it to 3, but for now, TriPPPeY falls back. He gets information. There's 2 players in pipes, but look at this. We've seen this before. Optic Gaming stuck all at elevator. The space advantage is going to be in Sentinels' favor, and Lucid deciding to try and create some space. Gets a kill on top BR. It's allowed the opening push. Lucid gets a double as he grapples in, and the push to extend some space is going to give Optic Gaming everything they need to get a 2-0 lead here in the Winners Bracket Finals. That's what I'm talking about. They saw that series from G1 and C9 earlier today, and they said if we get into a similar situation, we cannot sit on our back heels. We cannot allow for space to continually be pushed against us. They create an opening, and who else other than Lucid?
I agree with you. I thought we were watching a horror film again. I was like, Ron, get out of there. Don't do it. No. But instead, like you said, fearlessly, Lucid leads the team, grappling it out for that fight. That was just such a magnificent play. And taking a quick look at the stats, though, we got Lucid going 17 and 11, and everyone's saying, well, if our leader dies 11 times, I'm right behind you. 11 for all.
1 for all and all for none. No man left behind on this Optic Gaming roster. But I mean, let's talk about that last play, Dave, as we take a look at these stats. It's Optic Gaming getting sandwiched from pipes from BR. Lucid has the grapple. What he does when he grapples into bottom BR and like launches himself into blue, not only does he get a kill, do some phenomenal damage, but he forces all of the attention of the players that are in BR onto him. And then TriPPPeY right behind him slides in. No one's looking at TriPPPeey, and now all of a sudden Optic Gaming have created space out of nowhere.
Taking a quick look at this damage, this is so interesting. So all members of an Optic, fairly close, within 500 damage for all of them. Lucid actually having more damage taken than more damage dealt.
Yeah.
That's incredible, the amount of damage and amount of pressure he's putting on the map. So look at that, having most damage taken, same amount of death as his teammates.
Recharge Slayer is one of those game types, Dave. You can get weak, you can re-peak, you can play your life, especially in the stalemate situations. How are you able to stay alive and eventually capitalize? So that damage, a little bit misleading because not all damage on Recharge Slayer is capitalized on, but we did see capitalization on some of the camo plays. Frosty on screen, a little bit of an overextension here. And then later on, we saw TriPPPeY with the camo have so much success as basically won Optic Gaming the game.
Absolutely, that was just such a huge end play.
This is it.
So many ridiculous plays from each side, like right there, such an amazing trade. I literally saw TriPPPeY get 3 or 4 kills against opponents in that spot.
Good lord. How good is this kid? Such good hair too.
And also, how'd TriPPPeY go in there without a reloaded BR? Just that's how fanatic it was as they're running away from that pipe chase.
And it's just like, so perfect. Optic Gaming ran into that issue at Kansas City where they trapped themselves at elevator. Formal grappled out by himself trying to pick up a kill on the play that fell pit, and Optic Gaming's probably been thinking about that moment since Kansas City. They run into a very similar situation here in the Winners Bracket Finals, and they changed the outcome by making a completely different play. They've learned from their mistakes, and now they're one step closer to being in the Grand Finals with that series advantage, but they have to close the door because they know still this one's not over.
Optic, they were heralded as one of the best live fire teams at the beginning of the season. Does that still hold true here as we're deep into the season, all the way into August? We're about to find out as we kick it off with live fire Oddball. 3 rounds of mayhem based on how these games have been going.
Yeah, give me some Lucid POV to kick this one off the way he ended last game, but we're not going to see much of Lucid. He gets deleted. Frosty with the snipe in hand. I'll absolutely just take his point of view if that's the case. Picks up the S7, relocates the top tower, and the ball still bottom middle, but Overshow coming up, and Frosty, he needs to defend this one.
Yeah, it looks like it's just Frosty versus the world. There's TriPPPeey and
I'll take
Lucid.
Frosty sometimes.
You'll take top. Yeah. What are the odds you give me on this one? I'll take Frosty. But yeah, that was such a great position for Frosty, but you saw all those players. They say, all right, we're dealing with the sniper one of 2 ways. We're either all hiding or we're all flying and taking him out, and they shut Frosty down immediately.
Good stick by Roll 2 there to delete Lucid with that overshield, but Lucid is able to trade that one out. It has been an Optic Gaming advantage here early on. The ball is back tower, snipe, and the heat wave in the hands of TriPPPeey. He's got a repulsor to play around as well, and this is where the highlights could become a reality. Nobody on Sentinels looking at him, nobody able to hit the shots just yet from TriPPPeey's point of view, and Does he decide to be aggressive or stay with APG with this ball? You know you want to pressure those respawners, but as he loses a teammate, he wisely just tries to control top middle. They're able to extend a little bit of space towards the Bruce with that kill as well.
Look at that great rotation too. First, what TriPPPeY focused on was which way is the oddball heading. All right, we're heading towards Overshield. I'm gonna go clear out that direction. Afterwards, making sure to help with any sort of threats in the top center. So what a great escape there from SnakeBite. I thought he was absolutely getting traded out by that grenade, but yeah, either way, I just wanted to say, when helping a teammate rotate the ball, focus on in front, not behind.
It's only a 20-point lead for now from Optic Gaming with the early success that they've had, and with Overshield coming up in just a couple of seconds, Optic Gaming are set up, but up flank, back tower, nobody expected it, especially not LethuL, as TriPPPeY able to get that ball before LethuL can play it. The Overshield goes into Formal's hands, and now Optic look to build a significant lead here in round 1.
That's a heartbreaker because Sentinels, they were trusting LethuL on his own in that position, saying, all right, if you start to get in too much trouble, you're gonna play ball this. We're gonna spread out a little bit, get in unorthodox positions, and get some slays, and that backfired. This tournament, all tournament long, we've been seeing a lot of chances or stops from play balls.
Well, it's a tough situation for LethuL. He wants to be able to help his team potentially compete for Overshield, and what the heck is TriPPPeY doing back there is the big question, but it ends up being a very successful flank from TriPPPeY.
Yeah, more often than not, that play generally backfires against Optic because TriPPPeY's out of the play for so long. To make that long of a flank, you bring up a great point, but that time it ended up paying off very well for Optic.
The timing was perfect ever since then. It's been all Optic. Frosty's trying to do the same flank back tower. They're not going to fall for their own tricks. APG finds them with a nade. And now it's all of a sudden 62-18, Dave. Optic Gaming looking to close out the winners bracket finals in fashion.
And look at all these grenades just flying up the sniper rifle. Both teams know at some point it is just going to be a chaotic break for it. And here it is. LethuL gets taken out. That's a killing spree for TriPPPeY. Gets the no-scope double kill on SnakeBite. That's 3 down for Sentinels. And Optic are not stopping. They have a near 70-point lead.
Show us what you got, TriPPPeY. A superstar in the making. He's been making his name known across the nation so far. And Optic Nation, you know, they want to stand up and support Trip. He's got 10 kills to his name. He's had a hell of a winners bracket final so far. Continued to extend it, and with that shot, it almost basically ends round 1. Optic Gaming with a very convincing first round of live fire Oddball under their belt. They look to put a punctuation on this series.
TriPPPeY is 10-1. That's as many kills as Royal to Frosty and LethuL combined in that first round. Just an absolute domination in the form of slaying. When you are outslaying that much, and especially when some of your slays are crucial ball stops and not let them play ball it, your team is going to go off on a huge lead.
And he was doing it with everything, right? The Overshield, the snipe, the heat wave, you name it. He was controlling that power-ups. Frosty now trying to get this first Overshield, has the snipe in hand, can't quite hit the headshot on the Formal, and that's going to be Optic Gaming rotating the ball to green. They're going to be in a position to where they can play it, but can Sentinels force that play ball with this Overshield?
And also, it looks like a little interesting of a delay there with that Overshield. Frosty realizing it wasn't any sort of threat yet and saving it to just get a little bit extra shield to save an extra BR shot or two. Didn't end up becoming necessary in that last engagement, but the smart play. These players, they're going to get greedy when they can, whether that's trying to get a little extra time before play balling it or activating the Overshield a little later.
This run from Frosty, it's been something special. Unfortunately, Sentinels brought the ball to green, and the rotations from Optic, they cut them off perfectly. And once again, Optic are going to be in a position where even if Frosty gets these kills, they're going to play that ball, and that's exactly what happens. Frosty does get taken down, the ball does get played, but that looked like a position where Sentinels, with Frosty with snipe and a few players dead from the side of Optic Gaming, you thought that they were going to be able to get a significant setup.
Yeah, you thought they would get a lot more time too. They were outslaying during that last series of engagements. However, it's Optic, the ones that are getting away with the ball. They're up by 25 points, even though they're even or negative in slays so far here in round 2.
You can't go down to TriPPPeY right now if you're Royal 2. You need to gain some significant time back into this one, get into round 3 of this game. Starting to chew away at the early lead from Optic Gaming here in round 2 at the very least. Royal 2 can't quite get to a safe position with the ball, and that's not where you want to sit with it. It was an easy kill from the respawners of Optic Gaming pressuring top middle, and as Overshield respawns, the big question is will Sentinels be able to get some kind of Overshield control back to back?
One thing that I've noticed that's been happening quite a bit during these engagements is it feels like when Sentinels have the ball or some semblance of a setup, Optic are able to slip by and sometimes eliminate the ball player before taking out the defenders. Whereas it feels like when Sentinels have the oddball, feels like Optic sometimes just slip on by and just, or sorry, the reverse of that is when Optic have the ball, Sentinels are not slipping by. They're not getting behind enemy lines and killing that ball instantly.
We really haven't seen a strong setup from Sentinels yet, and we're already halfway through round 2. You gotta see one here and now. They're given an opportunity, but it's Frosty with the ball. Maybe not the player you want with the Oddball, right? The top slayer on your team. But right now, a beautiful rotation from Frosty towards green. You want to see kills come through for Sentinels fans. If they want to get back into this one, they're still down 15.
Look at this, Frosty wisely dropping the ball, just going for slays.
Look at this.
And APG takes advantage of it right away. Lucid's gonna shut down Frosty, and they're getting ball time, they're getting the slays, and they are very comfortable here in round number 2. Are we gonna somehow see a sweep here in the winners bracket finals?
You wouldn't think so with how caliber of a team the Sentinels is, and especially after their success in Kansas City. But ever since then, Optic Gaming has been looking for an opportunity to redeem themselves, and this could be the series that they start that track off with. It's a 52 to 25 point lead. A snipe in the hands of SnakeBite could mean everything for Sentinels.
What Sentinels are going to need to do here is they need to make sure that they secure this overshield since they have such a strong advantage with the sniper and heatwave in position. And then secondly, they need to make sure that the ball carrier does not just get picked off randomly. And look at this, kind of a disjointed effort. SnakeBite doesn't know which way to look. Looks like he's able to find these players near the dummies, but he doesn't have the second weapon to finish it off. Jumps out frustratingly and tries to hit with the heatwave, and that is 3 down. Not the setup you want to see because now Optic are getting the ball and they're getting the overshield.
You gotta hit those no-scopes if that's your choice of loadouts, or switch to the heatwave and potentially hit one of those shots, but because SnakeBite chooses not to have the battle rifle, he gets punished. A beautiful push once again from Optic Gaming to break the potential setup of Sentinels, and now they have the ball in hand. They've got another overshield to their name, and although the overshield gets deleted, a beautiful play from SnakeBite with a double there. 3 dead for Optic Gaming. The ball does get played still, and it's going to delay any opportunity Sentinels would have a little bit longer.
I mean, huge play by SnakeBite there, getting that triple kill, breaking through enemy lines, and that was in a situation where Optic had an overshield. Like, that is just unheard of. So somehow these teams playing well off the back foot. We aren't seeing as many shutouts during times when a team has control. So we're going to have to see what Optic decide to do to break the setup here from Sentinels, as it's 2 down apiece, make that 3 down for Optic. Formal, the only one left, gets a pick on Royal 2, who's just trying to peek out and see where they're at. And we got Sticky Grenade versus Spike Grenade, and I'll take Sticky Grenade any day of the week.
Well, Frosty comes out on top there, but what a play from Formal to not only take down Royal 2, but to stop Frosty from getting some of that ball time. But the ball is going to be rotated. SnakeBite with a double in the kill feed, starting to pick up his slaying prowess, and that's exactly what Sentinels fans want to see. SnakeBite's got to have a big round 2 and round 3 to keep Sentinels in this one. They are going to take the lead here in round 2 in what looked like a potential dominant series-ending round for Optic Gaming, now in the hands of Sentinels.
I love those pre-nades from SnakeBite over towards the tunnels. You obviously already saw Frosty spotting out APG and Bomb Center. I don't think he knew Formal was down there as well, but he says, all right, well, is this player likely going to run out through dummy door and go all the way around, or are they going to charge straight toward this ball? And so he throws a spike grenade so well. And here we might see the play ball. This is a pretty early play ball, in my opinion. They had 3 members still alive from Sentinels, but maybe they were just a little fearful, or maybe they were just set for this rotation, ready to grab it. Look at this, Frosty getting that ball, bringing it towards garage, and he has backup already inside the garage. So what I thought may have been a blunder turned out to be a 3-step process that we talked about earlier.
Turns out these kids are playing chess nowadays, Dave. You used to play checkers, they say, and what a perfect play from Sentinels to extend this to round 3. The ball was played in perfect succession with Frosty's positioning bottom middle. He picks up a kill in a perfect time to also make a rotation for overshield. Sentinels execute perfectly. They stay in this one for now.
Great, great plays, and now it's do or die here for Sentinels. They need to win this round and bring the series back, but here we see kills being traded out. Not much of a surprise. Generally, if one player gets someone one shot, teammates are going to answer to that call out and hunt them down. So here we go with Lucid grabbing the first few seconds of ball time. I was going to say he was going to rotate it out, but it looks like he's still focused on the slays. Looks like Optic are also sometimes using this ball as a little bit of bait here for Sentinels. They seem to take the bait a little too often.
Lucid does get away with snipe, but he has to leave the ball behind because in the meantime, all of the slays go towards Sentinels. SnakeBite picks up a couple big ones to get his team an overshield here, and now SnakeBite with overshield and heatwave, and you can feel momentum starting to go in Sentinels' hands, and it's because this guy, he's stepped up big time in round 2. Let's see what he has in store for us here in round 3.
Just like that, rotating back and around. He knows he has his teammate over towards top tower, and SnakeBite's goal is don't let anyone get near that tower player. Gets the kill on Lucid. There's a double, and that's going to stop the push for the most part against Optic. Looks like Formal and APG know he's still down there, and they want to get this kill. They want to even out those slays a little bit, and that's going to be Royal2 and SnakeBite down for just a short period of time.
But look at the distraction. SnakeBite takes 2 to no shield. He buys so much time. It's allowed LethuL to swoop in, get 2, and that's exactly what you got to do if you're Sentinels. SnakeBite not only finding 2 kills with the heat wave and the overshield, gets so much time awarded to his team, and for the first time in this series, Sentinels get to play from the lead.
And look at that, comfortably rotating that ball away. Looks like that was going to be a play ball, so Optic aren't going to commit too many resources going towards green. Instead, they're going to focus back on the top center, and this overshield is also coming up in 10 seconds, so expect a battle to be happening over here on the outside.
It would be massive for Sentinels to be able to get this overshield, Dave. Something that Optic Gaming have been doing all series long is controlling the power-ups up until about midway through that second round of Oddball. So will they be able to secure this? Look at this, Royal2 and his friends. They're here, they're in position, they're gonna get this one. Not only that, they're gonna get the Oddball immediately. And once again, Sentinels with overshield in hand. It's SnakeBite, of course, that's focused the prioritization there. Can he make another play to extend this lead?
I'm a little curious as to where they decided to go with this Oddball, though. It felt like they were first coming toward garage, then it seems like they were considering run towards tower, but look at SnakeBite has a flank. Is this going to get bitten? And it does! SnakeBite gets back smacked with the OS by Lucid. That is a massive kill, but the damage still has been done. 2 down for Optic Gaming, and ball time still racking up for Sentinels.
Didn't check his corners, but did some damage before getting assassinated, and the rest of Sentinels were able to pick up some kills, but a massive play from Lucid to at least get SnakeBite off the map there. And as I say that, a couple players from Optic get knocked off the map from LethuL. He puts 2 in respawn. Lucid trades 1 out, but Frosty's shutting him down. That's a big kill because it's all 4 dead for Optic Gaming, and a green setup for Sentinels. Are going to at least get 15 more seconds here, Dave.
Here it goes. He knows his garage is clear and decides to take that slight opening. LethuL and SnakeBite clearing the path over near dummy side, but SnakeBite gets taken out. So Frosty says, I am stuck in between stuck in a really difficult position, and decides to try to go back towards green, but it's too little too late. That's 3 down for Sentinels.
I don't like the rotation there, right? You need to be able to play that ball, put it into difficult positions, because now Optic Gaming have not only gotten the slays, but they've got the ball secured in a pretty safe spot. They're going to have a chance at a setup of their own.
I like the rotation, didn't like the execution. Yeah, it was just the slays did not go in their way. I mean, you cannot take any slay as a guarantee when you have these 8 players on the map.
Unfortunate circumstances for Sentinels to potentially win this game 3, but now we're looking at an Optic Gaming comeback potentially. Lucid knocked a no shield here as he's forced to kind of put the ball in an exposed location. He wants to rotate it back tower. He's going to do just that once he gets his shields back. And although overshield's coming up, Lucid's not in a real position to compete for it, but I guess you'll take the ball time for now.
Yeah, might as well. In fact, you could even rotate that ball further away, and it looks like Lucid has to decide what to do here. Just scrapping up every last second he can. Realizes he's gonna die soon. Those players are hunting him down over in the mud, and Sentinels do the right disbursement. They send a couple players bomb center towards ball. They send someone towards Nest to cut up on Lucid, and someone towards the back of that tower to deal with that threat.
LethuL tanking a bunch of damage. It's allowed the rest of the kills to come through. It's a triple kill for SnakeBite. He picks up the ball. 1 player alive is going to deny him some ball time with a grenade. Lucid takes down Royal2 as the last player alive. But Sentinels with 3 straight overshields, you can feel what that has given them the opportunity to come back here in game 3 and push this series to a game 4.
Look at that Frosty 1-shot with this sniper. Still 2 bullets left, and I don't expect him to let that weapon get in anyone else's hands. In fact, I expect him to do a little bit more damage to this. And there's 1 body shot. Takes out TriPPPeY with the heat wave. Gets a double on Lucid, and he's lining up. Barely misses on Formal.
Who crouches? Come on, Formal.
Have some honor.
Yeah. Fortunately, though, for Sentinels fans, they are able to get a couple of kills. They're going to be able to end this round here and now. SnakeBite put in the last few seconds. And for anyone that thought this series was over, think again. These 2, they usually go the distance, and I have a feeling with the game 4 being interesting, we could just be seeing that. And Dave, let's talk about it. It was phenomenal plays across the board from the Sentinels members, but it was really SnakeBite that stepped up and made some plays that won that game.
Absolutely. I mean, as we saw him getting like those triple kills, double kills, just trading out when he needed to, find those extra little seconds of time, and it all added up. So despite getting back smacked with the OS, overall, the damage was done across the board there in round number 2 and round number 3.
Yeah, Lucid with 31, still just being an absolute unit to deal with on the map. Optic Gaming probably kicking themselves, especially after as easy as round 1 was looking. You thought that this series was going to be over. You thought your undefeated tournament streak could go all the way to the grand finals, knocking out Cloud9 and Sentinels in the streak, and that would have been a nice story to have, but you got to take a deep breath because this one, it's far from over. These guys know it, and something about this Sentinels roster just makes Optic Gaming stay a little bit awake at night.
Well, Clutch, you called out SnakeBite during the last game saying he's doing a lot of damage, and the stats back up your assessment. 7,800 damage, 600 damage more than any of his other teammates during that last game. Now taking a look over on the Optic side. TriPPPeY and Lucid, they've been a duo for quite some time now since Infinite started, and both 8,300 damage apiece.
So good. Both those two guys played so well throughout that game 3. It just wasn't enough. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you can play good, but Sentinels is going to beat you unless you're playing great, and Optic Gaming know that better than anyone. But when you break down the game, when you take a look at the highlights, pay attention to the overshield control and how the ebbs and the flows slowly and surely went into Sentinels' favor so often throughout map 1 and map 2. We talked about camo control being so dominant on the side of Optic Gaming. Well, Sentinels were able to turn that story around. Why do you think that was, Dave?
I mean, they're just a team you can never count out. It doesn't matter how dominating you won that round 1 of Oddball. It's just they're champions for a reason. So I don't know if there's any specific assessment as to like how did they turn that around. Like, you know, how do they go from getting as many kills, 3 players getting as many kills combined as TriPPPeY had, to the next round just outslaying them?
How'd they
back
do
to
that,
back? It's just they're built different.
Yeah,
built different.
they really are. They're awake now. A little bit of life behind them, some momentum after game 3. And Dave, you've been here several times where this series against one of your biggest rivals, probably your biggest rival. We'll talk about a Carbon potentially back in the day, and you found yourself down 2-1 in the series. Somehow you squeaked out game 3 to push it the distance. What's your head going at into game 4?
You just gain those little bits of momentum. You take the little victories where you get them, and you just keep pushing forward. Anytime you start to ink away those 1v1s, anytime you start to stay alive and get the other team frustrated, you just roll that forward and forward. And you know Optic, they're not comfortable. Yes, they're up 2-1 in the series, but they're saying, oh no.
Yeah.
These guys are awake.
Yeah, we should have, we didn't want this to go any further than the 3-0, which looked pretty promising at one point, especially after round 1. But we already are getting into game 4, and for game 4 to kick this one off, it's going to be Strongholds on Recharge. We saw the success in the Slayer from the side of Optic Gaming. Will we see the same in the Strongholds format is the question.
I love the starts from APG. It feels like every single map. We saw it at the beginning of Aquarius, CTF. We saw it here just on Recharge, Strongholds. He finds some spot where he can go crouch and do that angle and just get some initial damage out.
Lucid's been able to secure the camo. He's able to pick up 1, but 1's just all he gets as he gets taken down. The camouflage, the power up early in this game 4. It's not going to be a factor for really either team, but potentially a camo removed from the hands of Optic Gaming is something good for Sentinels fans to see.
Here we go, getting some points on the board, or they should have been getting some points on the board until Elevator got converted. So still in control for Optic, but you know, this game is fine at this point. It's slowed down enough. They're looking for a Slayer 2, and then you can expect the action to start rolling.
Good information from TriPPPeY to find out where Frosty is with this shock rifle. Now, how are they going to deal with him? I think Optic are okay with this. The AB hold, it's a very familiar strat for them to try and secure, but unfortunately as Formal goes down, the push comes through into pipes. Lucid gets taken care of from Frosty, and now all of a sudden Sentinels jump into B and they look to push A as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going for the trip cap or they're just gonna be content with the dual cap. Looks like Frosty gets a little overzealous, pushing towards A, gets picked off in a time where they had numbers for a short bit.
Stronghold captured.
You thought Sentinels was gonna take map control. They're only able to take B, and in the meantime, respawners, they're able to take over C, so it's an AC hold now for Optic Gaming. A bit of a frustrating moment there for Sentinels, probably. You had to think that with a couple of kills going in their favor in a 4v2 situation, they're going to start getting points, but since then it's been all Optic Gaming, and now TriPPPeY's found himself the shock rifle, found himself ahead as well, and they're okay with this AC hold. They're going to force these pipe spawns. TriPPPeY's on a killing spree.
Yeah, it does feel like I can't tell if Optic have been just defensive off the start or if one of their main tenets of strategy in this map is keeping elevator. It feels like outside of the initial spawns, feels like Optic have been doing a good job for the most part controlling that area until TriPPPeY pushed out a PR.
Big kill from Formal, and of course, Formal's been able to secure camo as well. So the second camo, back-to-back camouflage is going into Optic's hands. We'll see how influential this one is. Roll 2 trying to expose himself to deny B from being transferred over, but Formal doing everything he can to try and keep TriPPPeY alive. Can't do enough though. TriPPPeY does go down, and now Formal kind of oversteps his boundaries here, going bottom middle, a very exposed location. A questionable play from Formal trying to help TriPPPeY out, trying to deny B from going into Sentinels' hands, and now Sentinels make Optic Gaming pay with that mistake. They start to score themselves.
TriPPPeY, the last one alive, decides to take a little longer route, just back down, stay alive, and wait for your teammates to spawn. So right there, now they're going to disperse across the map. Look at the support he's given to Optic, Formal, Matt, all the way over at Gold, and now here comes the movement.
The kill.
Gets the kill, Mangler Pick, goes to a one-on-one against SnakeBite, has to back down because of a great grenade, and SnakeBite secures that kill. That's 3 down for Optic, unsuccessful push.
Formal is going to be able to hop into B. Are they going to be able to get him out? SnakeBite doesn't really have an angle in order to compete for this. He's got teammates over towards the turbine, but they don't get there quick enough, and the last guy alive for Optic Gaming, Formal, swaps over B in their control, and now they're able to maybe make this work with a BC hold for now.
I take back my statement. Successful push. Guys, I mean, sometimes going in B is that death wish. Like, sometimes it's like, all right, give them the last free kill as you're the last one alive, but, you know, these players, they're using those grenades and those engagements, and so Formal maybe somehow reading that through or just committing to getting that stronghold, and now Sentinels, they have to commit towards B, and they get it reset.
At the nades.
So LethuL and SnakeBite both get taken down in a situation where they went even in slays and had control. We now see Optic being the squad that's racking up time.
Yeah, APG gives his life to reset B there. Formal nades it out, and they get the kill, they get the reset, and once again, Optic Gaming with the 3rd camo of the game. I'm going to say it every time. The power-up control, it's dictated the winners of these matches, and it has been heavily influenced by Optic Gaming so far. No success, though. So a beautiful job by Sentinels to find that camouflage player, take him down before he does damage.
And look at these resets. Getting control of A, they've reset B. Optic Gaming in a very comfortable position, but right now the shock rifle's back up. We saw that worked well for Lucid before. Let's see how APG and Lucid coordinate here to try to get this weapon. Their first thought is not grabbing the weapon as fast as possible, it's deal with the immediate threats like LethuL.
Yeah, you got Roll 2 and LethuL over here from Sentinels trying to push into the pipes. Roll 2 goes down. LethuL trades it out, and that's a numbers advantage now for Optic Gaming with control of A and B. That's going to benefit them immensely. And Dave, if you take a step back, look at the score. It's 160-33.
One thing we're noticing here from Optic is they aren't just getting all these kills and trying to force some sort of trip cap. They are content sitting on these 2 and playing it slow. You saw even the times where Sentinels had shock rifle. Optic said, yeah, okay, we'll hide from some of those angles. We'll let you try to break through our setup. You're going to have to hit some good shots.
Stronghold captured.
Look at this, it's a trip cap now. Somehow, some way, Sentinels have been able to flip the entire map into their favor. They need this trip cap, Dave. They're down a significant amount of points, 130 to be exact, and as they start to climb back, they do lose C, but for how long will they be able to hold a double cap? Because you have so much ground to make up from the early beginnings of this game.
Yeah, and taking a look at the slays, actually, Optic have been outslayed by 3 kills so far at this point, and they're up by over 100 points. The objective efficiency is off the charts here for this Optic Gaming roster.
Unbelievable.
Getting the right trades, getting the right resets, making the correct plays.
The rotations have been perfect for Optic Gaming. It's getting them this lead, but can they keep it going? Because right now, as we continue to stay on board with SnakeBite, camo does come up. They are able to shut it down immediately. It's another burn camo, but more importantly, this time around, the story's a little bit different. The slays come through for Sentinels, and they continue to score. What was once a 130-point lead, now all of a sudden is less than 80.
Looks like APG and Lucid are still going to try and make a play in that 2v4 scenario. Somehow pick off LethuL and Frosty. I do not know how that happened because I saw APG engaging from BR, and I was like, that's got to be a mistake, but somehow it works out for those 2 players.
Somehow B gets transferred over. You think Formal is overextended and a little bit of troll of a play as he repulses up in the air, top middle. He's a free duck hunt style of a shot, and he gets taken down, but B does get transferred over momentarily. They need to try and figure out a way to get SnakeBite out of B. They're unable to do so. So SnakeBite wisely able to immediately basically transfer that over, and now it's an 80-point game.
Yep, and they got the opening kill. LethuL going down. These spawns are a little staggered here for Sentinels. SnakeBite's going to spawn back, but is he going to be somewhere he can help? It does look like he's long C, but is it going to amount to anything? Here comes Royal 2, going to even out those numbers, getting a slice, and Sentinels, they're at least stopping the bleeding here. They're getting C, they're getting some slays. They just need to stay alive.
A couple of kills, but I mean, more importantly, while all that happened, while Royal 2 picks up a couple of kills, Dave, B gets transferred over. Royal 2's responsibility to watch B. In the meantime, he was too distracted picking up the kills. Too much to do from just his individual point of view right there. And this is a very difficult position for Sentinels to be in, because now Optic Gaming are starting to amount points over 200 already, and they need 40. With that round of slays, they know exactly where Sentinels will be spawning, and they have control.
And they've probably been in this situation hundreds of times. They say, we're holding gold, we're holding elevator. They got crossfire for each other. Look at this. TriPPPeY's not even going to challenge that shot of the BR. They're going to wait till they push across the catwalk. Instead, actually going to watch his own back, realizing the pressure's got to be coming through long haul. Who's it going to be and where?
There's a player in the B. Nobody has an angle from Optic Gaming. They can't get him out. This is a big transfer from the side of Sentinels. They are able to, and with it, they pick up their first KMO of the game.
One play that also is huge off screen is Formal was essentially out to play that entire time since he was over elevator, and he
doesn't get there.
BR, does not get the reset. Sentinels have to really get a stronghold swap soon, because they're down 2 players each, and this is not the position you want to be in. They're spawned over at C, they're at BR, and they're going to try to make their final stand.
They have 5 seconds, Dave. It has to be now. The push is coming through. LethuL gets into B. Is he going to get taken down? I believe so. The push is too slow. It's not in time. And Optic Gaming have done it. They will take the winners bracket finals 3-1 over Sentinels, and a very dominant performance there in game 4. A great series overall. And what an important series for these guys to gain that advantage going into the grand finals, because these guys know what it means to have that advantage over a team like Sentinels potentially when they see the rematch.
Yeah, the most mind-blowing part here is
the slays.
Optic got outslayed.
Yeah.
Optic got outslayed by 3 kills, and they won by over 125 points.
Optic get outslayed, but Optic outplay Sentinels. Absolutely.
They got the clutch kills, yeah. Those kills, they don't show up on the scoreboard as the impact that they had. It shows up as 1 kill for those times that they're getting the kill and getting the stronghold.
Absolutely. Take a look at APG stats. 7, 14, and 10. How many times did I say in that game, APG gets the kill in the reset? APG rotates perfectly in this situation. I don't care what your stats are. When you're playing like APG was in that game, you create so much opportunity and success for your team. An unbelievable job by all of Optic Gaming, but let this be a lesson to everyone. You can win the winners bracket finals, and it's not about the stats. It's about how you're playing the game, and Optic Gaming leading in that category now more than ever.
And also category leader for his team, Lucid, with the most damage. I feel like we say that about every game.
Yeah.
He is just putting up massive numbers.
You should just have it on the screen at some point.
We'll just tell you to change it when it's not production.
There should be a graphic that just highlights Lucid's name at this point.
But yeah, what a performance from Optic. Playing that game so much more smart than Sentinels there. Getting the clutch kills as well. Getting all those resets. They just played that in such a different fashion than we've seen throughout this year. Just holding the 2 strongholds set up, forcing Sentinels to make unsuccessful push after unsuccessful push, or getting those clutch endings even when there's only a couple live from Optic and all 4 live from Sentinels. They somehow were able to convert B. Just incredible plays from those players.
I mean, as we take a look at the entire series scores, Dave, this one, I don't know if it could have been any closer. I know there was a couple of rounds that may have been heavily favored one side or the other, but take me back to Aquarius 2-1. It was anyone's game for the longest time. Such good defensive stands. Take me back to Recharge Slayer, where it was 1 push Sentinels needed. And somehow, someway, Lucid with the grapple play out of elevator into BR gets the first 2 kills. And all of a sudden, what is like a game of inches is literally a game of 1 grapple created by Lucid. The live fire Oddball Sentinels obviously do enough, but then that Recharge Stronghold is where Optic Gaming showed their objective prowess. And that was the difference in this winners bracket finals. If these 2 match up with different game types, we could be looking at a completely different result.
Absolutely. I mean, once you get to this level of play, you each have your strengths and your weaknesses. And let's be honest, Optic was stronger here today and in this round and deserved to go to the grand finals.